Queen Zephyria's crystalline form shimmered with barely contained fury as her flagship Dominion's Edge descended through Earth's atmosphere. For 3 solar cycles, she had scoured 17 star systems, following every lead, bribing information brokers, and interrogating smugglers. Her daughters, the twin princesses Lyra and Nova, had vanished during a diplomatic mission to the Outer Rim. The trail had gone cold until yesterday, when her scouts detected their unique biosignatures on this primitive blue world. The humans called it Earth, and Zephyria had studied their species with growing disdain. They were short-lived, technologically backward and prone to violence. How her daughters had ended up here was a mystery that would soon be solved, followed by swift retribution against whoever had dared to abduct royal blood. Her search led her to a sprawling metropolis the humans called New Angeles. The biosignatures emanated from the older district, where crumbling concrete structures cast long shadows over littered streets. Zephyria materialized her physical form, 12 feet of translucent beauty crackling with bioelectric energy, and strode through the narrow alleyways with her honor guard flanking her. The signature grew stronger as she approached a street corner where the aroma of something the humans called coffee and pastries filled the air. She rounded the corner and froze. There, sitting at a small metal table outside a humble cafe, were her daughters. But they weren't imprisoned, tortured, or held against their will. They were laughing. Lyra's normally pristine silver hair was tied back in what humans called a ponytail, and she wore simple clothes that looked almost comfortable. Nova had somehow reduced her natural luminescence to barely a glow, appearing almost human herself. And between them sat a human. He was unremarkable by his species standards. Medium height, dark hair, brown eyes, perhaps 25 Earth years old. The name tag on his simple uniform read, Raza, and he was apparently employed at the establishment behind them. But what made Zephyria's energy crackle dangerously was how her daughters looked at him. With affection, with trust, with love. Lyra! Nova! Zephyria's voice rang out like a thunderclap, causing nearby humans to flee in terror. Her daughters looked up and she saw something in their expressions she hadn't expected. Guilt, but also defiance. Mother, Lyra said, standing slowly. You found us. Found you? Zephyria's form flared brighter. I have torn the galaxy apart looking for you. I thought you were dead, enslaved, or worse. And I find you here, drinking whatever that brown liquid is, with a primitive. Raza had also stood, placing himself slightly in front of the twins in what could only be described as a protective stance. The absurdity of a human trying to protect her daughters from her was almost insulting. Your Majesty, Raza said, and Zephyria was surprised he knew the proper form of address. Your daughters are here by choice. They're safe, they're happy, and they're free. Free? Zephyria advanced, her honor guard moving to surround the trio. They are royalty. They have duties, responsibilities. And you, human, will explain how you came to possess members of the crystalline dynasty. I didn't possess them, Raza replied calmly, though she could sense his fear. I found them. Nova stepped forward. Mother, let him explain, please. 3 months ago, Raza continued, I was working the night shift when I heard sounds from the alley behind the cafe. I found these two, injured and scared, speaking a language I'd never heard. They were hungry, cold, and alone. Impossible. My daughters would have contacted me immediately. Their communication devices were damaged in the crash, Lyra said quietly. And we were afraid. Afraid? Of what? Nova and Lyra exchanged glances. Of going back, Nova whispered. Mother, we've never been free to just exist, to be ourselves. Here with Raza, we learned what it means to live without the weight of a crown. Zephyria stared at her daughters, then at the human who had somehow changed them so fundamentally. And you, human, what did you gain from harboring them? Raza's answer was simple. Friends, family, I suppose. They helped me understand that I wasn't alone either. I could destroy you with a thought, Zephyria said, energy crackling around her fingertips. "I know," Raza replied, "but you won't." "And why not?" "Because if you did, you'd break their hearts. And despite everything, the power, the anger, the royal pride, you love them too much to do that." Zephyria felt her energy falter. This human had seen through her in seconds, had identified the one truth that mattered most. She did love her daughters, more than her empire, more than her pride, more than anything in the galaxy. "The diplomatic mission," she said finally. "What really happened?" "We crashed the ship on purpose," Lyra admitted. "We couldn't face another arranged marriage, another political alliance. We just wanted to disappear. And instead you found him." "We found each other," Nova corrected. "Raza taught us about human concepts like chosen family, about earning respect rather than demanding it. We learned to work for our food, to contribute rather than simply take." Zephyria looked around at the humble street corner, at the small cafe where her daughters had apparently been working, at the human who had given them something she never could, freedom to choose their own path. "The Empire needs its heirs," she said finally. "Then maybe," Raza said quietly, "the Empire needs to change." Zephyria met his eyes, seeing not defiance but hope. "You would make that argument to a queen who could obliterate your species?" "I'd make that argument to a mother who wants her daughters to be happy." For a long moment the street corner was silent except for the distant hum of human city life. Then Zephyria's form began to dim, her energy settling into something less threatening. "Perhaps," she said slowly, "it's time I learned about these human concepts of choice and earned respect." She looked at her daughters, then at Raza. "But if you're to be part of their lives, young human, you'll need to understand what that means. The galaxy is vast and dangerous." Raza nodded. "Then I guess I have a lot to learn." Zephyria almost smiled. "Almost. Yes, you do. And perhaps, so do I." As the alien queen sat down at the small metal table, accepting a cup of the strange brown liquid her daughters offered, she realized that sometimes the greatest discoveries came not from conquering new worlds but from understanding the value of a simple street corner cafe and the humans who had taught her daughters how to laugh again.